What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing a camera that I picked up, and I picked this up over a few months ago. For this camera, we are going to be discussing the DJI Osmo Nano. So there are 4 reasons of why I picked up this camera, and we're going to start with the first reason. So that's going to be its portability and size. As you can see, these 2 cameras can disconnect. I have a vision dock that I use pretty much when it comes to, overall seeing how I look on camera. And then obviously you have the main camera itself, which does all the heavy lifting. So obviously, I can be very, very discreet with this camera. I don't necessarily have to worry about drawing a lot of attention to me when it comes to using this camera because of how small it is. And then it comes with a lot of accessories that I can use to kind of be discreet from a POV perspective. So if I'm trying to, vlog, or if I'm just trying to just show my environment from a certain perspective, I can use this camera and I don't necessarily have to pull up my phone or have to have anything to where it draws a lot of attention. The second thing we're going to be discussing really will be the price. So at the timing of this video, I actually have the 128 gig. Now when I purchased it back in December, that's when I picking it up, I actually got this for $329, which is not bad, retail price. Now that its popularity has actually gone up for the camera, it's about a little over $400, which is still not bad for a, POV camera, but, you are getting up to, the $400 to $500 range. Now compared to the Pocket 3 is going for almost $700. Don't know why it went up in price again, but for $200 of a price difference, close to $300 of a price difference, for them to have similar features, but the camera's a little bit smaller, for me personally, I felt like it was a better choice to go with the Nano because I can still get the same features of the Pocket 3. It's just smaller and it's a little bit more convenient for me to use. And I don't necessarily have to spend an extra $200 to $300 in order to get the same features. Now, when we are discussing features, there are some features on the Nano that I do love. The fact that it can actually roll for 4K, up to 60 frames per second. And also it can go at 120 frames per second as well. And I believe that's at 2K, or 1K. It's at one of the two. You can go for 120 frames per second for that slow motion if you want to do that. It also has time lapse that you can use it. You can use it at night, so it does have a night mode that you can use the camera as well. Also too, in regards to the profiles, it does have DM log. So, that's another, picture profile that a lot of people use when it comes to color grading their footage. So if you really want to be able to get, the nice coloring when it comes to, that type of profile, you can use DM 10-bit log. And you can pretty much get the type of coloring and styling of your quality of videos that you want to get. Now, when it comes to the Pocket 3, it does have all of those features as well. The one thing that the Pocket 3 does have over the Nano, it does have the gimbal stabilization. So it does give you gimbal stabilization onto, the camera. When it comes to the Nano, you kind of have to do it manually. There are some ways around it to where you can still get smooth footage, but it's easier when you have a gimbal attached to the camera. Like I said, this is more for a POV perspective type of, film camera that you want to use. And like I said, you can still get the same quality of your videos than you can onto the Pocket 3. So it just really depends on, your preference and how you want to film. Now, I would say when it comes to the Nano, there are some trade-offs to this. And part of it is mainly the battery. In order to charge the actual camera itself, you gotta have the vision dock connected to the actual camera. So that's the only way that the battery can actually get powered on. But the trade-off to that is that the battery on the vision dock actually drains because it has to really fully charge the camera for the Nano. Now, there are some ways around it to where you can actually get a separate battery charger to where you can connect to the Nano, to where you don't need to actually use the vision dock, but you have to spend extra money in order to do that. So it's somewhat of a trade-off in a way because you feel like you have to spend extra money just to kind of, supplement and kind of help out the trade-off that you have on this camera because of the battery. But I mean, that's kind of what you get for $400, when it comes to a POV camera. Depending on your shooting scenarios and depending on how you're trying to shoot your videos, I feel as when it comes to the Nano, it's totally fine. I don't really shoot long duration of videos when it comes to, the Nano, because I just use this mainly for my reels if I'm doing YouTube shorts. So I pretty much just shoot little batches at a time. I don't really shoot for long periods of time. I do have my phone and I also have my professional camera if I really need to do that. So there's ways around it, but this is just an extra tool in my bag that I use to pretty much help me out when it comes to being comfortable filming and not having to draw a lot of attention to myself. So with the DJI Osmo Nano, you really can't beat it, especially for the price that it's at. The fact that you can get the same features that you can from this camera to the Pocket 3, you can't really beat that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you are looking for a budget option and you kind of want to move away from the Pocket 3 and kind of see about the Nano, trust me, you won't be disappointed. For $400 and for you to get everything that you can, I got a 128 gig. So it has internal audio. I'm also able to use the mic three, the mic mini microphones to connect to this camera to where I can have a backup audio, and then also has internal storage. Like I said, the 128 gig. It has all the features that the Pocket 3 would have, and for you to save close to $300, you can't beat that. So that is the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys kind of want to see about how I actually use this Nano in style in regards to the settings, in regards to how I shoot with the Nano, let me know down in the comments. I can go ahead and actually set up a time to actually create a video regarding that. But also, if you want to see a little bit more content in regards to photography or just content creation, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be building up more videos for you guys, just so you guys can kind of understand as far as my style of how I can help you guys out, pertaining to content creation, pertaining to photography. So if you're into that kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel, use whatever you have to kind of make sure that you can get your presence known, get your identity out there. So I'll catch you guys later.